Why discipline always beats motivation. Let me ask you something. Be honest with yourself. How many times have you felt motivated? Really motivated? The kind of motivation where you tell yourself this is it. This is the moment. Everything changes. You wake up early, you watch a video, you feel inspired, you feel unstoppable, and then life happens. The alarm rings, you're tired, you don't feel like it anymore, and slowly, quietly, that motivation disappears. This is not a failure of character. This is human nature. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is intentional, and that is why discipline always beats motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are temporary. They rise when things are exciting, they fall when things become uncomfortable. Motivation shows up when results are fast, it disappears when progress is slow. And progress is always slow in the beginning. If motivation were enough, everyone would be successful. Everyone would be fit, everyone would be wealthy, everyone would be confident. But they're not, because motivation alone cannot carry you through resistance. Discipline is different. Discipline does not care how you feel. Discipline is a decision you make once and honor every single day. Discipline says, I will do what needs to be done, whether I feel like it or not. And that decision changes everything. Discipline asks, what must be done today? Motivation depends on inspiration. Discipline depends on commitment. Motivation is external, discipline is internal. That's the difference. Here's a truth most people avoid. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, and discipline is the system that builds your life. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. It is the ability to keep promises to yourself. And every time you break a promise to yourself, your confidence weakens. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your identity strengthens. Discipline is not about forcing yourself, it's about becoming someone who follows through. The strongest people are not the most motivated, they are the most consistent. Consistency beats intensity, every single time. Let's talk about pain. Because pain is unavoidable, you will experience pain no matter what path you choose. The pain of discipline, or the pain of regret, the pain of waking up early, or the pain of staying the same, the pain of pushing forward, or the pain of watching others pass you by. You don't get to avoid pain, you only get to choose which pain you accept. Discipline hurts now, regret hurts forever. Most people think successful people are lucky. They think they wake up inspired. They think they feel confident all the time. That's a lie. Successful people feel fear. They feel doubt. They feel resistance. They just don't let those feelings decide their actions. Discipline is emotional mastery. It is the ability to act in alignment with your values instead of your moods. And when you master that, you master your life. Every transformation starts with a standard, not a goal, a standard. A goal says, I'll try. A standard says, this is who I am. When you raise your standards, your behavior changes automatically. Discipline is simply saying, this is the minimum version of me that I'm willing to accept. No excuses, no negotiation, no delay. Your standards shape your destiny. If your standard is comfort, you will live an average life. If your standard is growth, you will live an extraordinary one. Discipline is built in the moments no one sees, when there is no applause, no recognition, no reward, just you and the decision to show up anyway. The world rewards visible success, but success is built in invisible moments, in repetition, in boredom, in consistency. Discipline thrives in silence. Motivation is loud, discipline is quiet, motivation shouts, let's go. Discipline whispers, do it again. You don't need motivation to be disciplined, you need clarity. Clarity about who you want to become, clarity about what matters, clarity about the cost of staying the same. Because here's another truth. Staying the same is not free. It costs you time, it costs you confidence, it costs you potential, and the longer you wait, the more expensive it becomes. Discipline is choosing your future over your comfort, again and again. Let's talk about identity. Because discipline does not come from willpower, it comes from identity. You don't rise to what you want. You fall to who you believe you are. If you see yourself as someone who quits, you will quit. If you see yourself as someone who follows through, you will follow through. Discipline becomes effortless when it aligns with your identity. Stop saying, "I need to be disciplined." Start saying, "I am disciplined." Language matters. Identity shapes behavior. The difference between success and failure is not intensity, it's recovery speed, how fast you return to your standard. Discipline compounds. Small actions done daily create massive results over time. What feels insignificant today becomes unstoppable tomorrow. People overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can do in a year. Discipline closes that gap. Every day you act with discipline, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. Every lazy decision is also a vote. Choose wisely. You are always becoming something. The question is, are you becoming intentionally or accidentally? Discipline gives you control over your habits, control over your time, control over your future, and control creates freedom. Most people think discipline limits freedom. It does the opposite. Discipline is the path to freedom. Financial freedom, mental freedom, emotional freedom. When you discipline your actions, you free your life. Stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. Some days it will show up, most days it won't, but discipline is always available. Discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The less you use it, the weaker it gets. Start small, build momentum. Momentum changes identity. Do not ask, "How can I stay motivated?" Ask, "How can I design my life so discipline is automatic?" Your habits are the architecture of your destiny. Discipline is the architect. One disciplined day is better than 1,000 motivated thoughts. So here's the real question. Who are you willing to become? Not when it's easy, not when it's exciting, but when it's uncomfortable, when it's boring, when no one is watching. Because that is where discipline is born. And that is where lives are transformed. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a lifestyle. Motivation fades, discipline remains. If you want a different life, you need different standards. If you want different standards, you need discipline. Decide today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Decide who you are and then prove it with your actions. Because discipline will take you places. Motivation never could. And the life you want is waiting on the other side of the discipline you are avoiding. Choose discipline, choose consistency, choose growth, and everything else will follow. Discipline always beats motivation, not because motivation is bad, but because motivation is temporary. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. Motivation comes and goes, discipline stays. It shows up on the hard days, it shows up when you are tired, it shows up when no one is watching. And that is why it works. Discipline builds habits. Habits build identity. Identity builds destiny. You don't change your life in one moment of inspiration. You change it through small disciplined actions repeated every day. The life you want is not waiting for you to feel ready. It is waiting for you to become consistent. Stop asking how to stay motivated. Start deciding who you are, because once discipline becomes part of your identity, nothing can stop you. Choose discipline. Choose growth. Choose the future you know you deserve. And remember this, Motivation may start the journey, but discipline is what takes you all the way.